Hey everyone, welcome back to Brian's Mysteries and Adventures on Trail. I hope everyone is doing well. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. It's free. It really helps out the channel a lot, plus my efforts with search and rescue. Today we are going to be discussing the disappearance of David Lamar Brown. He disappeared in August of this year, August 13th of 2024. As always, I will have photo credits and sources in the description if you want to do further reading on this case, as well as phone numbers and the proper authorities to contact if you have any information regarding this case. David had traveled to Florida with his wife Amy from their home in Georgia, more specifically to the town of Brooksville. Brooksville is a small town to the west of Orlando where Disneyland is. It's got a population of roughly 9,000 people. It's a very beautiful town, lots of beautiful streets with trees overhanging. David is a white male, roughly 180 pounds. He's got gray hair, a gray goatee, blue eyes, roughly 6 feet tall. He's got a slender build. He was last seen wearing a white t-shirt with blue horizontal stripes and blue shorts. He had gone down there because he wanted to visit his brother Carl. The trip was going well. David and Amy had been married for 27 years. They were looking forward to another anniversary. David's birthday is this month. On the morning of August 13th, David and his brother Carl set out to do a hike. More specifically, David wanted to go down this trail to this specific tree where he wanted to do some praying. Sadly, last spring, David was diagnosed with stage 4 prostate cancer, but he was a fighter and he wanted to enjoy all the time he had, and this is why he had come down to Florida with his wife. It's a beautiful area. He wanted to go to this specific tree to pray. I'm going to have a picture of that tree coming up right here. This is the tree. Unfortunately, the day that they were going down this path to see the tree, it was blocked by downed tree limbs and all kinds of other debris. So Carl went back to the home to get some tools to remove the debris. He told David to wait. When Carl returned to the spot, David was nowhere to be found. David did have his dog Snoopie with him, so at first there wasn't a big cause for alarm. When the dog returned back to the house without David, they knew something was really wrong, and they contacted the Hernando County Sheriff's Office and started a search. Here are some pictures from the search. Ground teams were initially deployed. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office aviation teams were deployed. They thought this would be relatively quick to find him. Florida, however, can have very harsh conditions: heat, humidity, thick, dense vegetation, wildlife. The sheriff's office even deployed their mounted horse unit. Along with all of these units, they also had their drone teams out scouring all the areas where they thought he possibly could be, but all these teams were coming up empty. The path is in around various residential areas, so the police started asking people to pull up their dash cam footage, their ring camera footage. They also pulled some trail camera footage. They were able to capture some of these pictures. Here's a picture of David on the path. He's got some flowers in his hand. He is, however, missing his glasses and his shoes at this point. These images put him near Hayman Road, so obviously the police and search teams dispatched their units down near there, but again, they came up empty. They continued to canvass the area, as well as contacted the Pasco County Sheriff's Office to ask for their help with their canine unit, which they agreed to. The canine unit was actually very helpful. They tracked his scent back to this barbed wire fence where they found some of the dog's hair, as well as some ripped fabric. They actually did DNA tests and were able to determine that it was his dog's hair. They figured that he had tried to climb under this fence. More ring images came in, which showed him still with his dog around 11 a.m. in the morning. It showed him without his socks, as well as a big tear in the back of his shirt, presumably from when they crawled under the barbed wire fence. But as you can see, they're in a residential area of sorts. And one of the images, a woman actually spoke to David. The woman said that he said he was lost, he needed directions, which she tried to give him, and he just walked off. The last surveillance images put him on Baton Road between Family Lane and Deerfly Road. The search continued over the next 6 days, and despite all their efforts, all the manpower, he was never found, and everybody was just baffled. Volunteers and nonprofit organizations continue to help search, but he is still missing to this day. Of course, his family is extremely concerned. He doesn't have his very needed medication. Very odd that he just disappeared into thin air. They think maybe he got a ride from someone, maybe he was disoriented, maybe he could be in a hospital outside the area somewhere. The police are asking anybody that lives in that area to check their property, their sheds, any outdoor buildings, any parked vehicles, any other shrub-filled areas on their property. Sadly, that area also got hit with those storms recently and flooding. David Lamar Brown has now been missing for almost 2 months. His birthday is actually coming up on the 6th of this month. He will be turning 70 years old. This is a picture of what he would look like if he had a full beard. His family and wife is, of course, desperate for answers. They just want to get David back. They're hoping that someone will see his story and recognize him and call the authorities. I wanted to cover this case for many reasons. Obviously, he is a missing person, but I know how hard it is to have a loved one diagnosed with terminal prostate cancer. Plus, his birthday is coming up. I just think it would be so wonderful if he was brought back to his family before his birthday. Some members of the search and rescue team and his family think it's possible that he did get a ride out. He's possibly in a homeless shelter or homeless camp. There was a few calls that people in a homeless camp said they thought they saw someone that looked like him, but unfortunately, too much time went by. They were never able to confirm whether or not it was him. Now that these horrible, disastrous storms have moved through the area, it could be even harder to find where he is. On the flip side of that coin, I've also researched many cases and covered several where a big storm has come through and it's actually helped find a missing person. Either they've turned up at a FEMA shelter or in a hospital, they've had amnesia. I've actually read up on a couple of major crimes that were solved this way as well. Sadly, yes, more people go missing with these storms than are actually found. I'm just trying to stay hopeful for the family and just hoping and praying that David will be found and brought back to his family safe. If you do have any information regarding Mr. Brown or have seen him or were in the area anytime over the last 2 months and think you have something relevant to the case, please contact the Hernando County Sheriff's Office at 352-754-6830. Of course, I'll have all that information in the description. This case really is confusing in many ways. At the height of the search, they had everyone from the Hernando County Sheriff's Office, the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, the Citrus County Sheriff's Office, the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, the Hernando County Fire Rescue, all these volunteers from the Hernando County Sheriff's Emergency Response Volunteer Team. Plus, despite going missing on a hiking trail, he was walking in fairly residential areas. They even caught him on those surveillance cameras, whether it was a Ring camera, there were a few trail camera pictures. They were pretty close to tracking him down. They even had an eyewitness that had given him directions. They had cross streets. They had a lot of knowledge in this particular case, which is often very uncommon. David was obviously trying to get back. He had stopped and asked for directions. He had climbed under this fence. He was carrying flowers, presumably for his wife. What could have happened to him on this small walk in this little town of Brooksville, Florida? Please share this video or David's story with as many people as you can, especially if you live in Florida or happen to be in that area during the time of his disappearance. I want to dedicate this video to David Lamar Brown. My thoughts and prayers go out to you, David, to Amy, his wife, Carl, his brother, all his family and friends, all his loved ones. I hope and pray he is found soon safe. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for all your comments, your support, your feedback. Special thank you to co.ag for providing the background music. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Take care. Hey everyone, thanks for sticking with me to the end. I really appreciate all your support and your comments. I love hearing from you all. I am still working on 2 other videos that I'll be having coming out in the next week or so. The one about the 2 lost guys up in the Pacific Northwest, and then a video about several park rangers that have gone missing. If you have any case or video suggestions, please leave me a comment or email me. I always try and cover every case that you guys suggest, especially if it's a recent or current case. I really appreciate all of that information and feedback you guys provide. For those of you that have been with me for a long time, you know that I always recommend for anyone going out on any type of hike, you carry a SATCOM device of some kind. I carry an old Garmin InReach. They don't sell this model anymore. You can still find it on places like eBay. They of course have newer models. It's great to get one that has not only the SOS, but messaging, tracking, up-to-date weathers, topo maps. They can all really be things that can save your life in the outdoors. This may seem obvious, but if you do get a device, make sure you select a plan and activate it. I've actually covered several cases where people were carrying a device, but they had never activated it. Alright everybody, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.